Well, good morning. Welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. Today we're going to make chicken fried rice casserole, and this is my own recipe. Here are the ingredients, and some of these ingredients are from previous videos, and I'll link all those for you, and you can pause this and write them down. Well, we just made sauce veloute in another video, and I promised to show you some ways to use it. I'll link that video so that you can see it, but this is something you can make ahead. So if you want to put together a casserole really quickly at dinner time, you can make this sauce veloute ahead and have it ready and use it in many ways. This is just one way. This is the rice that I have showed you before with the simple rice hack where you just boil it. I'll link that video too. This is 2 cups of leftover chicken, and this is about 2 cups of vegetables. I've got the ingredients in the list. And this is 1 cup of frozen green peas, and then a 1/2 stick of butter. I also didn't show 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs and salt and pepper as always. I'm not going to use a lot of herbs and spices in this, but you can. So melt the stick of butter, add in your chopped vegetables. This is basically a mirepoix, but I've chopped them fairly large. We're going to sweat these a little bit, not brown, just soften them up. As always, when you're sweating vegetables, you're going to add a little salt. That's just a healthy pinch of salt, maybe a 1/4 teaspoonful. I've got this on medium heat. We're just going to cook this until the vegetables start softening and letting go of their flavor and aroma. Don't want them brown. I'm going to add a little red pepper flakes to this instead of black pepper. Brings a great flavor, and I like it. So this mirepoix is bubbling away. You can see the onions are starting to get translucent, and if you were here, you could smell that they're ready. You don't need to get these done because there's going to be more cooking and baking. So I'm adding my pre-cooked rice, and I want you to see all those nice individual grains. This is cooked according to my rice hack. The short version of that is I just boil heck out of it and rinse it, and it is quick and easy and always perfect. So I'm adding this into the butter, and we're going to let it fry just a little bit. And let that cook just a little short time just to get a little of the butter flavor in the rice. And I'm adding a cup of frozen peas, and they're still partially frozen. I just ran a little warm water over them. This is going to cook quite a bit more. So just stir all that in together. And you can substitute freely here. You can use canned peas. You could use a can of peas and carrots. You could use a can of mixed vegetables. This is just what I have on hand. This is 2 cups of chunked up leftover chicken, and just a hint here, you can use your canned chicken. This is, once again, just what I had on hand. This is kind of a leftover casserole, but it doesn't taste like leftovers when you're done. But use any chicken that you have. You could use beef or pork if you preferred. I just happen to have chicken. So we're going to stir all that around. And I call this fried rice casserole, but really this is not frying. It just got just a little of the butter flavor. So when this is hot all the way through, we're going to add the sauce veloute. Now this is a 1/2 cup scoop. You know, if you don't have a scoop that measures, you might ought to think about getting one. It just makes it easier. So that's 1/2 cup. I'm going to put about 2 1/2 cups of the sauce in here, because I have 2 1/2 cups. And if it's still too thick, after I get all of it in, I'll add a little broth to thin it out. And this sauce was made ahead, so it has thickened up a little bit. But we're just going to kind of stir that around. The rice is still getting a little color from the pan. And we want to just let this get good and hot all the way through. And then check to see whether or not we need to add some broth. I'm pretty sure we do. About a half cup ought to do it. You want this not to be gummy and sticky after it bakes. So I'm just adding enough to loosen it up a little bit. We want it about the consistency of a chicken pot pie filling, and you know, hey, if I had used potatoes instead of rice, this would be a chicken pot pie filling. As always, I'm going to taste this for salt, pepper. I'm purposely not adding a lot of herbs to this. Sometimes Fred asks me not to, so I don't. But you could add a little rosemary in here, a little thyme, whatever your favorite herbs or spices are. I'm going to add a little bit more salt. And it tastes just like I want it now. So I'm going to finish it up, get it ready for the oven. The oven's on 375, preheating. This is half cup of panko breadcrumbs. You can use any kind of breadcrumbs you want, and you can use more. I'm just going to spread this out and give the top of it a little crunch, and this will make it brown nicely. I'll bake this right in the cast iron where it was cooked. 375, 25 minutes. And here you go. This smells wonderful. And you know, I like baking in the cast iron. It's one less pot to wash, or one less pan to wash. They last forever. You know, I'm a cast iron freak. So I made this particular casserole today to show you how to use the Sauce Veloute or other sauces instead of your canned condensed soup in your casseroles. You really get a better tasting product if you make it from scratch, and you can make this sauce ahead. And here you have it all plated up. It's really yummy. Tastes an awful lot like chicken pot pie, a whole lot easier. You didn't have to make the crust. And mostly it's made from leftovers with a couple of time-saving hints with the rice and the breadcrumbs and the velouté made ahead. I'm going to give this a taste. I've actually already given it a taste, and I know that it's just scrumptious. And this is an easy recipe to adapt based on what leftovers you have. So I encourage you to start making sauces if you aren't already. Canned condensed soup has lots of sodium and lots of stuff you might not want. And this was made in your kitchen from your heart. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you again tomorrow.